So the first item on the agenda is meeting minutes of June 9th. Anybody have any comments? I didn't find anything I would change.
Yeah, I thought they looked pretty good.
I did have one comment about the quorum on the 11th. I mean, I think we said point blank that we were not going to be having a public hearing on the August 11th because we won't have a quorum. So it says there was mention that there may be an issue meeting the quorum. I think neither Julian nor myself are going to be there. So I don't think we're going to be able to quorum. I thought we said that, not just tossed it around. I thought we said there would be no meeting on the 11th, but.
Yeah, I can update that wordage.
Okay. I mean, does anybody else remember that?
No, we did.
Oh, I remember it. Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely be there.
Okay.
I'll be somewhere over the United States flying back. So, yeah, we can eliminate that. Well, I mean, if somebody wants to volunteer being chair, or we can just.
No, I think the August 11th meeting is going to get canceled. That was the intent. I think that's what we were discussing, is that we were going to cancel it because we weren't going to have potential quorum. So obviously nothing has changed. And, you know, this is going to be we have 2 more meetings before that meeting. So, you know, obviously if anything changes, you know, we can make that adjustment, but the intent is for us to, I'm going to be basically telling people if they submit that we're not going to have a meeting on the 11th. So that's kind of the I guess the thought process going forward.
So anything that we have to continue at the end of July will be to the September. Will be till September. That's all. It's cleaner that way, right? Is there one in August? Oh, is there a first one in August?
Yeah, so the 11th is the one meeting in August, and then I believe there's another meeting in August, right, Megan?
Yeah, August 25th, I believe.
Okay. So at the last one in July, then we'll just have to defer to August 25th. Any
Correct.
continuations?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, with that revision, any other comments? And if not, we can look for a motion to approve the minutes of June 9th as edited.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Lisa, seconded by Paxton, and thirded by Dan. We'll have Dan and Paxton. How do you vote?
Aye.
And we're going to record Thomas' vote as abstention. And then Lisa and Mark. How do you vote?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye as well. The motion carries. And then next item is discussion / plan about plan revisions for 237 Mansfield Ave. So, John, what's that about?
So in my memo that I sent over to the commission, we kind of ran into a little the Division of Fish and Game ran into a little snafu with ADA compliance, so they had to make some modifications to the site design. And Mike Count actually from their team is here to speak if anybody has any questions, but I kind of gave a summary of the information, and I uploaded the plan up onto the Google Drive. If anyone wants to see those changes, I can show them on the screen, or maybe Mike can show them if he has the ability to do so. It looks like he does. So Mike's going to show.
Well, it doesn't sound too controversial, but I think we can just take a quick look. Sure.
Yeah, it's not controversial. But Mike, you should have screen sharing capabilities now.
Great. Are you seeing the plan on the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
All right. Yeah, thanks for putting this on the agenda here with short notice. We've been working with John on this project since I guess the contractor broke ground in around February out here, and trying to wrap things up. Essentially, we ended up having to raise the seaward end of the paved parking area by about a foot to meet that ADA compliant 2% max slope. You can see that here. So that was a miss, between us and our consultant. It was a little bit over that. It was about 3.7% going down to the proposed walkway for the canoes and kayaks. So in order to make the elevations work, we had to modify the ramp itself. So essentially we have an accessible walkway at 4.33%, about 20 feet long, starting at the pavement that's down now. And then that transitions to a precast concrete pad ramp, which is at 12.69%, a little over 25 feet long, and both 6 feet wide and 3 inches. So obviously dealing with an increase in elevation. So in order to account for that, we created these retention ponds on either side as compensatory flood storage. So there's a net, zero essentially for flood storage when you look at what was originally proposed and what we're proposing now. It was a little too much finagling of elevations for us to feel comfortable to just proceed with this as a field change and a modification without, running it by you guys. So appreciate you guys looking at this, and we're just looking to get this site wrapped up as soon as possible. Our office has a maintenance team of 3 guys who are going to come in and finish this off. The contractor, his final day is basically June 30th of fiscal year. So he's essentially going to finish up these swales on either side as originally designed, and we're going to tie into those. Any additional runoff will end up being diverted into these retention ponds and then out towards Norton Reservoir. So you can kind of see on here the sections for the dense grade accessible walkway at 4.3%. The ramp essentially has a 6-inch wide granite curb on either side with 6-inch reveal. And that'll really help maintain the area. That'll stay in place. And then, if there are any washout areas with the dense grade, we'll just come in and touch those areas up over time. And then it transitions down to the car top launch ramp, which has the 3 foot by 6 foot precast concrete pads that we typically use at a lot of similar sites. The 3-inch gap between them filled with dense grade to allow any water reaching this area to run off and infiltrate. And then, on either side, we'll loam and seed this area as originally proposed. So the limit of work is essentially the same as what we were originally authorized under the order conditions. And that's about it. I can answer any questions.
Okay, anybody?
I just had one. So the quantification of impacts that was under the existing order. Is there any note on this plan that provides updates to those numbers?
Basically, we had the volume calculation for the compensatory volume. So that was included, and we essentially have a net cut volume, so additional storage of 6 cubic yards, 6.57 cubic yards. This gives a little wiggle room, for the actual construction. I'll go out there and stake it out for our guys with RTK GPS, the limits and, the high and low points of these retention ponds. But yeah, essentially the footprint is the same. There's a silt stock that was placed out there at the limit of work. complete our work. Um,
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's good. You have the compensatory volume calculations there because when you go to do the as-built, we just want to make sure that the volume matches. That's all. We'll just want to see that comparison when you do your as-built. So that's great. Thank you.
Any other questions? So, I mean, I think to just make it totally unambiguous, we can entertain a motion to accept the changes as presented and allow the project to move to completion. Does that sound acceptable to people?
Yep. So I'll make a motion to accept the plan changes for file 250-1125.
Second.
We have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Paxton. And let's see. Dan and how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Paxton, Lisa, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. So I think we're all set with that. Would you agree, John?
Yes. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Just a quick note, there's someplace on the plan where it says cruised stone instead of crushed stone, just for your own, information. I think it's on the left-hand side.
Dan, they were cruising to get that plan to us as quick as possible. That's what it was.
Yeah, it worked. All right, next up is vote on request for continuation. Now, I'm guilty. I didn't go through every detailed Google Drive. So do we have requests for continuation on anybody?
I think 0 Leonard Street put in a request today. Is that correct, Megan?
Yes.
Until
Till the
Let's
next
see.
meeting, so,
till the 14th of July.
So I'll make a motion to
So-
continue the public hearing for file 250-1178 to the July 14th meeting.
Second,
So we have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Dan. Dan and Tama, how do you vote?
aye.
Aye.
And Paxton, Lisa, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And I'll throw in an aye, the motion carries. And let's see, anything further with public inquiries, department updates?
It's going to be 100-something plus degrees tomorrow, so stay well hydrated, stay indoors if you can, and make sure you water your plants.
Yeah, gave up on the idea that we live in a rainy environment. So next item on the agenda is file number 250-1174, 361 rear Old Colony Road. Do we have a representative of the applicant?
We do.
Okay, please introduce yourself and tell us what's new.
My name is Rebecca. I work at Silver Engineering. I know you've been dealing with Mike Edwards, but he could not be here tonight. I'd like to show the board some of the changes that we have made, if I could share.
I think you like to have sharing capacity.
Excellent. So we've taken into consideration the concerns with the vernal pool on this latest iteration. And I just skipped ahead to a couple of pages here. Let's go right to the heart of the problem. All right. Everyone can see that? Can everyone see the
Yes.
screen?
Yeah,
Good, good, good. All right, so we all know this is the vernal pool right here in this cleared out area, and we've added the 100-foot no touch area to it, and we have now moved the whole basin outside of that 100-foot. The repercussions or the cascading effect means we had to raise the elevation to meet what we anticipate groundwater to be. And that in turn raised this site 2 feet. So that did make some changes to some of the delineations for the watersheds, for the drainage. But the overall balance is that we are pre to post mitigating our stormwater. We thought about the discharge location and one thought was going this way, but we did not want to impact the neighbor directly. So having the discharge flow over the 100 to feed the vernal pool over time, we felt was the better approach to the discharge that is right here for the basin now. Everything else stayed the same. We have the TSS with the oil grit, the catch basins, we have manholes conveying around the building. The building didn't move. The septic moved a little bit to accommodate the grade changes. The roof recharge didn't move. Overall, nothing else moved except this fella right here.
All right,
I can zoom in.
so are you up for questions now, or you?
Yeah, I'm all up for questions.
So, John Thomas, do we need this peer reviewed again?
Yeah, we do. I didn't know, I mean, last time I sent a message to Mike, I had informed him that, to be, I guess cognizant of the 100-foot vernal pool buffer, but I never heard back. So, obviously this is gonna have to go back through peer review process because they're raising the site up 2 feet and we just need to make sure that everything checks out. So, I definitely can, if the applicant wants, we can definitely make sure that everything checks out with stormwater. And then, the commission can kind of take their final view on it based on that it checks out for stormwater. Because at this point, I mean, I think this site is mostly stormwater related and just making sure everything complies with the stormwater handbook. So from my standpoint, I would say that, we just need to have this peer reviewed.
We understand it would go for peer review. We just wanted to make sure that the commission had their eyes on it before it went that far. So I do not mind, obviously, continuing until that's all complete.
So did the increase in elevation at the building precipitate any higher walls or anything on that side of the site?
Anticipate any, I didn't hear you quite well, I'm sorry.
Oh, if there was a height increase to a wall or?
No,
any retain-
all of it was natural grading. We did
Okay.
increase the grades, but there was no walls. This one was here already. So yes, this
Okay.
one in height did increase. We have a guardrail along it to ensure safety.
Okay, and what's the wall height on that? And is there a detail?
It will vary. It will be a block pre-manufactured wall. So when it comes to details or certifications, it'll be by the manufacturer. And we have a 116.5 for the berm now and a wall of 121, 4 feet, 4.5 feet, and then it goes down from there.
So is there a note on the plan? I mean, typically, if we're approving something about, with the wall, we would like to see a detail for the wall.
Yep, let me just skip ahead here.
Yep.
1 moment. I don't want to skip too far. Okay, so we do have a gravity type
Okay.
wall.
Okay,
Yes. And with the note that it be designed and certified, so the whole nice profile with grades and would be certified by the manufacturer. The structural.
Okay.
stability.
we just want to look at the plan view again. I just want to make sure there's going to be
Sure.
enough room to construct that wall.
Yeah, I did make sure that we moved away a little bit more.
Okay,
And we did leave enough room for the guardrail in between the wall. So you have,
Okay.
other than the lighting, we have the edge of pave, we have room for the guardrail, and then we have the wall.
thank you.
You bet, thank you. Oh, we did address some water department comments too, which he, shoot, I forgot his name.
We won't need to know that until the pre-construction meeting, so don't
Well,
worry.
just, it's in the 100-foot buffer, so I figured it's.
No, we
designed-
don't, yeah, we don't have a 100-foot buffer for
Oh,
that.
yeah, I'm sorry, you're right,
No.
I apologize. There you go.
If you want to stay back 100 feet though, that's,
Being very generous,
I'd
yes,
like them
we
not move
won't
the house.
complain.
yeah.
Can't move the house. Can't move the existing septic.
All right. Any further questions or comments?
And stop sharing.
Because we need to have this peer reviewed again, or some process thereof, we need to continue, unless there's further discussion. And our next meeting is, July 14. Is that acceptable?
Yes. Is it the 14th or 15th? Is it the 14th?
It says 14, I believe.
Bastille Day.
So I will make a motion to continue the public hearing for file 250-1174 to the July 14th meeting.
Second.
That time Dan got it by a microsecond there. So a motion by Lisa, seconded by Dan. Dan and Paxton, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Tama, Lisa, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And I'll throw in an aye, the motion carries, so potentially we'll see you on the 14th.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next item, we don't have any new public hearings. And we have a couple of requests for certificates of compliance, both full certificates. File number 250-1164, 153 North Washington Street, was decommissioning an existing septic system, parking, and 3.2 acres of laydown area. Any comments about that, John?
None whatsoever. Everything looks good out there. So pretty simple.
I'll make a motion to issue a full certificate of compliance for 250-1164.
Second.
Aye. Second, oh my gosh, second.
Well, I think Paxton got the second anyway. So motion by Lisa, seconded by Paxton. So Dan and Tama, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Paxton, Lisa, and Mark.
Aye.
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 And I'll throw in an aye, the motion carries. Next up is file number 250-1160, which is 266 Taunton Avenue. Request for a full, involving raising an existing house that abuts a bordering vegetated wetland and the building of a new single-family house with associated septic. Any comments? Is everything in complete order on this one, John?
Everything on this one is good. The grass looks healthy for now. Obviously, with the heat wave that we're gonna get, it might not be so good. So, but for now, as if I was there last week, everything looked good.
All right,
Make a motion to issue a full COC for 250-1160.
Second.
we have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Mark, Dan, and Tama. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Paxton, Lisa, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And I'll throw in an aye, the motion carries. That appears to bring us to the end of our agenda. Any further questions, comments,
So,
celebrations?
well, I mean, not really celebrate, but I guess give thanks to Paxton and Tama for volunteering their time, as they're not going to be renewing their terms for this upcoming year. But we appreciate you and wish you the best on your next adventures.
Thank you. It's been a
Thank
pleasure,
you.
and I hope that you get some great candidates that can keep up with Lisa and Julian and Mark and Dan and Joe.
Oh, you can start.
Definitely.
I will.
Keeping up with me is not so hard.
I was gonna say Julian and Lisa
None
will
of
be
us.
tough, but I won't be quite so tough.
You know, Julian, I will say it's not all physical, it's mostly mental. I mean, for you, I mean, you're pretty sharp, okay?
Yeah, so we'll, I'm progressing to needing the trek poles for going to the garden. But I'm still going to the gym, so hopefully things will be better in the future. So I guess we're all set. Our next meeting is the 14th.
It should be, yes.
It is Monday, the 14th.
All right,
So with
Peter,
that,
behave yourself.
yeah, I was gonna say, everybody have a good, July 4th.
Yeah.
Be safe,
Happy.
be
4th of
responsible.
Happy 4th of July, everyone, and drink plenty of water and stay safe. And my best bet is stay beat the heat the library.
Okay, thanks, Peter.
And I think I heard in there a motion to
Sure.
adjourn, so.
Yes, yes. And Megan wins the bet, by the way, so. She said 30 minutes.
Oh,
We're just under. Okay.
all right, take care.
See you later.